What's up, everybody? We are
Hello.
Hello,
here,
hello.
and we have a guy down here who must have caught a ride. This is
Mecca.
Kyle
Oh, this
from
guy.
our
Thanks,
haunted road trip.
Boston.
What
Thanks,
did she say?
thanks,
I was
Boston.
like, yeah, Mecca. I was looking at chat.
Awesome. Thanks, Boston.
Oh, this guy. I forgot. I didn't even notice
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
was
this
there.
guy.
Jeez.
We also we got Mecca in chat, but we also got that guy in chat, and
That
Hey.
um, I
that
think
guy.
tomorrow we are going to talk about my experience this weekend that I had with that guy that was quite
No, it wasn't with that guy, technically.
technically it wasn't with that guy, but yeah, I
Hey everybody, my name's
what
Sorry.
the hell this is why you're on Haunted Road Trip.
Sorry.
This
This
is
is
was
why we
my-
keep you on haunted.
That was my haunted phone. I
um
apologize.
no, it's cool. You just ruined the live. So anyways, yeah, so this weekend's been crazy because we had the premiere for Monster Inside on Hulu. We're still number 5 on Hulu, so we
Number
still
5.
got time to grow.
I think it started at 8 and then went to 2 and then 6 and then up to 5. So it's like a
Right.
little bit of a
So it's
yo-yo, but it
moving
hasn't
up
left the top
again.
10.
No, it hasn't. So that has been amazing. The outreach has been absolutely amazing. But yeah, so I was in LA on Friday and Saturday, hanging out with our buddies Reckless Ben and Danny Burke.
Woo, woo. And
That was a
guy.
blast.
And Jackson. That guy
And
Jackson.
Jackson kept disappearing and coming. I don't know, like all of a sudden Jackson would just be there. And it was pretty cool. They were all awesome guys. Lydia was also there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I met them all and went with Brandon from Monster Inside as well and Marissa. And it was just a blast. We did a bunch of haunts. I got to experience Ben's basement.
Ooh, I bet Kyle doesn't even
that
know about
is
Ben's
the
basement.
world's scariest haunted house.
Is it?
I quit.
No
you?
way.
I did anything.
You tapped out?
I tapped out.
Are
at
we gonna
Ben's
get
basement.
to see
God.
you
I
go
think
through
there's
Ben's
probably
basement?
going to be a special episode showing me tap out at Ben's basement, and
Oh my
Okay.
god.
I was very reluctant with that.
Well, anyone watching, this would be the perfect time if you're not already to go subscribe to Reckless Ben on YouTube and Danny Burke, DANNYBERK. Both of those channels are doing their series right now, exposing MM and
and
Ben's
MM
basement.
stands for McCamey Manor.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I know Boston's now knows the lingo
Yeah.
and tries to fit right in. Thank you so
Sorry.
much, Rena. See, heard you met Freddie Savage. Yeah, I met Freddie Savage.
I got a special message from Freddie Savage.
So, and then after the trip, I hurried back to Michigan to meet up with our special guest tonight because we have been working on this awesome collaboration where I'm just going to say her name. I'm going to bring her up right now. This is the one and only Brie, Be Like Brie. So we're doing this awesome collaboration where we are going to I brought Brie to haunted attractions into our world here, and later on, I don't know, do I say what part 2 is without saying where part 2 is?
You can say part 2 without saying where it's at.
Yeah,
Okay.
just don't give away the location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then in a few weeks, we are going to pick this collaboration back up, and Brie is going to take me paranormal investigating. So it should be fun. And with our weekend, we kind of found a good segue into that as well. But I think we should start just talking about you. And so tell us about what's being like Brie like.
Being like Bree's awesome. Come on now. So I'm a paranormal investigator, but I do paranormal road trips is my jam. I find historically haunted locations and even places based on legend. And so like I'll go and highlight the location, give the history, but just enough to draw people in. There's Mecca. Hey, just enough to draw them in and give them like the haunting behind it, and but leave the ball in their court for them. Try to draw them to the location and leave the ball in their court for them to learn the history, see if they can experience the haunting or figure out if the legend is correct.
I'm muted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go, Kyle.
I was gonna say you fit right in with the horror
Yeah.
road trip.
It isn't
and the
just
haunted
me,
road
then.
Trip.
It's just the boys tonight, I guess, have the problem.
Yeah. And for anyone who is just joining us, if you are new to this channel, Horror Road Trip, you may not know that Kris and I also have Haunted Road Trip. So make sure to subscribe to
Kyle.
that.
And Kyle.
Sorry, God, and Kyle.
This is second
It started
time
with us
tonight.
two. Sorry, Kyle is our co-host. Anyways, make sure to subscribe to Haunted Road Trip as well. We took a whole year off of anything horror and just focused on haunted. And now this is like a blending of those two worlds. We've got our co-host, Kyle from Haunted Road Trip, and then the beautiful Brie, who is collabing with Kris right now on this Haunted Road Trip and Paranormal Road Trips, because that's what she's all about. So I just wanted to give that little synopsis for anyone joining. Sorry.
Cool.
Continue.
So Brie initially was saying she was going to be a chicken at these haunts, but let me tell you, she did not. She was pretty rock solid through them.
She didn't tap out?
She did not tap out.
Dang it.
I don't think she ever really even got that scared. I think she you know, they jumped, you got a few jump scares. I got a jump scare. And I think we should talk about that location. So in Westland, Michigan, we went to a location called Hush. And it was like 3 different haunts combined into one. So there was like these little paths that broke off. But the unique thing about these haunts were they had like little speakeasies. Like where the break off was, you went into a speakeasy and you could have like a cool drink for the theme.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was really
That was
cool.
awesome. Oh yeah, and they had like 2 special drinks for each stop that you went to. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
No, that's really cool.
And when you're at like the speakeasy part, there wasn't like jump scares or anything happening at that
No,
point.
it was
kinda
like a little bar.
take a breather, have a drink. That's
Yep.
cool.
And in your guys' haunt world experience, have you ever experienced a haunt like that with?
No, I've
Really?
I've never seen that before till this.
Man.
And I'll tell you what, like I was all about it. I thought it was great. So the cool thing about this place, right? Years ago, it started at like an oil change garage. And it was a smaller haunt, but it was still very, the aesthetic was amazing. The scares were good. And then they recently, a few years back, bought an old skating rink. And I don't know, Brie, you want to talk about just like the entranceway, like where when we walked in before we even got in there?
Oh my god, yeah, it was all done up like a street in New Orleans, so it was like Mardi Gras. Like we're in the first speakeasy, and like the mayor and the girl that was with him, they came out and addressed the crowd that were waiting to like go in, and started throwing beads and shirts at them. And they had actors that were like intermingling with people in the bar, coming up and talking to us, and it was actually like really on point. It was real exciting because it's like it wasn't your typical haunt where you've got people that are like dressed up in like gory outfits trying to scare you while you're in line, or they're not playing like the scary music with like the horror reel in the background on a projector screen. Like it was like you're inside and it was like fun, like hey, there's a bar if you want to drink.
Right.
We're gonna throw some beads at you. Like it was real fun. Like it kind of like hyped up the crowd, so it was real fun to like stand there and like watch the interaction of the crowd and how they reacted to everything.
Yeah, it was a real cool. It was entertaining. You could do tons of people watching. We did the immediate access, so we didn't have to wait in the massive line that was there. But like the people waiting, that really kept them entertained and kept the flow going. But in the area where the first speakeasy was, they even had aerialists like spinning around
wow.
on rings and that. Like it was pretty sweet for a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just checking out their website. I did post it in the chat. It says 4 attractions and much more. This is a really well done website, but this place looks sick.
Yeah, it's
do you know if it's all like, is the whole thing located in Westland?
yeah. So
Okay.
so they say there's 4 attractions. I got confused if there was 3 or 4, because they blend into each other. Like there is just these stops. So if it gets too crowded and you're in the conga line, they kind of stop you at one point and then let you in more. But by adding these bars in it, if you're 21 and up, you don't really notice that. You don't notice that stopping point because you go to the bar, and then when you're done drinking, you just jump right back in the line and start walking.
Do you think I could have handled it? Did you see the disappointment in my face when I heard you say how good Brie did?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I was hoping there was someone who
Boston,
did just as... Sorry, Brie. I love
here's-
you.
No,
here's-
it's okay. I totally
can't
thought
be
I'd be like crying. I was so prepared to
You
go
were
somewhere with
crying
like,
in the
somebody with, like,
live.
yeah, like I thought that somebody was gonna be coming at me with a chainsaw. Like now that I would have pissed myself. No, sorry.
Okay.
It's fine. You can swear.
like,
Jeez,
like
can't believe you said
I'm
that,
gonna
Brie.
like I'm thinking like we're even walking to like one area and I'm like, I don't do dark. Like I don't do dark. And so like I'm waiting for it to get dark. He's in front of me. I'm waiting to grab onto him and just like be drugged through, you know, like
Yeah.
but
That's
it
how
never
you do it,
happened.
right?
Like, yeah, and it never happened. Like I really enjoyed both of the locations that we went to, but like Hush, it was like, I mean, if you watch the lives that we did after we did a live after Hush.
Yeah.
Like compared it to like a magic carpet ride, and it was like you never really knew like what you're going into. Like after we got done with the bar with the instant access, we were able to go straight in and you get your picture taken. Like it's almost like the Tower of Terror, like what you had described. It was set up like the Tower of Terror. We got our picture taken. We got on an elevator, and then you're off onto your first adventure, like going through. And then somebody steps out, pulls you aside, and it's like the first bar we were in was like Mardi Gras. The second one was like the frozen tundra and there was like a frozen Yeti, and they had a camping tent and that you could like hang out in and like
so kind of and you said like magic carpet ride, and Kris and I have had this talk before about whether it's like haunts, immersive theater, and then even like Disney World itself, like being an immersive, like so it was an experience where you kind of like get immersed into these 4 different worlds.
Yeah, I would definitely say this is an immersive type of haunt. Now you're not, it's not like immersive theater where you're playing a role and you're talking to the actors or anything, but you have just the environment all over you. You have scents, the lighting, everything it brings you in.
Oh yeah.
One thing that I was telling Brie about was everything in this place is like hand carved out of styrofoam.
Yeah.
And the detail on this stuff is mind blowing.
It was insane. I'm standing there like petting like one of like the columns. I'm like, this is styrofoam. And he's like, yeah, it's got the cement coating on it. And I'm like, there's no freaking way. There's no way. Like it's so detailed. Like you would think that it was part of the building, that there was like hours and weeks and months put into everything that you're walking through because of the detail that's put into it. And it was really quick, come to find out. Like it wasn't months.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Well-
no, so they built it in 15 days.
Get out.
Yeah.
Five guys, they were younger kids, early 20s, 15 days hand carved all this stuff. And it's just insane. Like that you go into this one part where it's catacombs and there is just hundreds of unique skulls. Like they didn't use a template. Each skull is different somehow.
Yeah.
That's so
And
awesome.
Each
You know.
one was hand done.
yeah, 13 Gate had a good chainsaw. So I will say this. I was actually shocked that at neither of these haunts that we went to did we run into a chainsaw.
Yeah. There's always a chainsaw. Like you
Yeah.
always hear see, and there was nothing.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I was prepared for it. I had the pins in the car. Not really. Joking.
So
Smart, prepared.
what Hush had that I liked, it was a good blend of animatronics and live actors.
Yeah.
And they did very well drawing your attention to the animatronic while they got you with the jump scare from behind. Was it Hush that the person got me?
Yeah, so we're walking by and it's like a bookshelf, like, and they're real books, like, and there's like hundreds of these books. And so he's walking by and there's a gap. And I'm thinking to myself, don't be the white person and put your head in the gap, right? And like, he's like, oh. And like,
That's right. And I put
sorry. That's literally what I thought. I was just like, because I'm saying it to myself, like, don't be the white girl and put your head in there. Because, like, I knew that he's waiting for me to get my ass got, right? And I'm just like, don't be the white person. Don't put your head. And, like, he's just like, oh, what's this? And they jumped. But I thought it was an animatronic. It wasn't until after he was like, no, that was a person. I was like, oh, like, that was really well played.
Yeah, I didn't know if I caught somebody on their lunch break or what, but she was like really low, and I looked in, and she just like did like a boo or a loud noise at me, and I stumbled back. I was like, all right,
That
got
made
me.
me, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. I was like, oh,
Yeah, poor girl was just on her lunch break trying to take her 10 before
Yeah.
she had to go back to work. Boom, get away from me.
And then you got a scare in there.
yeah,
It
I
was
did.
It was towards the end, but you definitely had one scare.
Yeah, I did. I did.
You gotta tell us now. You gotta elaborate.
Trying to remember it because there's like a couple things that just really stuck out to me. Okay, is this the girl that was screaming at me?
I don't know. A lot of people screamed at you.
I did. I got screamed at a lot.
Holly is asking who our guests are. I just realized we probably should have our little name things up here. I don't know why they're not up. Holly, this is, and for anyone joining us, this is Brie, and she's a paranormal investigator friend of ours, who is collabing with Kris this month. He's taking her to haunts, like haunted attractions, and she's taking him to go do some paranormal investigating at haunted locations. So we are catching up with her about, well, both of them about their weekend. And then Kyle, of course, from our co-host over on our Haunted Road Trip channel.
They left the door open, and I just wandered in.
Right. I don't know how he got here. Well, one of the locations, I don't know if that's a good segue point or not, but because I don't want to leave Hush if we're not done talking about it, but one of the locations is a haunted location too. Correct?
Yeah. Boston's like, I don't want to leave Hush yet, but I'm going to go into the next
Well, I don't
Yeah.
want to leave
Well,
Hush
So,
yet,
Do
um,
it anyway.
but I'm really curious.
So yeah, so then the second haunt that we hit up, because originally we were going to go to a place called Ron Manor that was like an hour and a half away. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, Bree's into the paranormal investigations. Why don't we go to a very popular haunted location that also has a haunt in it? So we went to Eloise Asylum. And
Right.
it was cool. So right when you get there, I mean, the building is just ominous. Like, it is absolutely huge. There's only 3 structures left on the property. I want to say that there was about 5 originally, and due to fires and just things breaking down, they got rid of the other buildings. But the haunt is in a location that is not accessible to the general public, which takes you down into the basement of Eloise and into the tunnels system. Which was really cool because, if you go there and do paranormal investigations, you won't be able to go down there. So next time Brie comes here and goes there, she can say that she's been through every floor of Eloise at this point. So we get there, and like I said, very ominous. The buildings are there, and then they had a cool little like photo selfie garden area with just tons of animatronics and whatnot that you could stand around, take pictures with pumpkins, giant monster pumpkins and that. I know on Brie's socials, I seen a bunch of the pictures out there.
Yeah.
You put a few out there, right?
Yeah, I made
Or am
that
I just thinking you
TikTok
sent
reel.
me some?
No, I sent you all the pictures I took, and then I also today, to segue into tonight, I made a TikTok with all the pictures. And so that's on my TikTok page, and I dropped it on Facebook and Instagram as a reel, but then I also shared it at 5:00 as a post.
What is your, I don't have TikTok open on my computer. Do you know your handle?
At
I'm trying to-
Breeze, BREEZE, baby, Brie.
I think I follow you. I must. At Bree's Baby Brie. For
Yep.
anyone who is interested in looking for her on TikTok, because you share your paranormal locations on TikTok too, I'd assume. I follow you all on Facebook.
Yeah, I
Okay.
share everything across all the platforms. TikTok, I'm still learning and making the videos, so I do a lot of videos with like my still shots and any videos I get on hand, because I always, when I do videos, I'm always live on StreamYard across my platforms.
Right. Yeah, everyone make sure, I don't know if they're in the descriptions or not. If Kris didn't put them in, we'll add them, Kris, but everyone make sure to follow Brie on all of her socials, because she's like, I mean,
she's on
Kyle,
everything.
How many years have you been in the paranormal?
I've been doing
Kyle, yeah, you've been doing it for like
I've been
Brie
doing it 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years. Kris and I
2.
Like 2. Brie is fairly new to the world, and she is non-stop.
Yeah, she already has more pictures and locations under her belt than all of us combined.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true. It's very
without
true.
a doubt. Without a doubt.
So Eloise, I'll just say this, right? The sets were very good. At the beginning, it makes it look like you kind of go back in time to an operating asylum, and the farther you go into it, it starts warping and giving you like the eye of insanity. Like there was one part towards the end where you're walking in, it's padded rooms, but they're at different angles. So it was just it threw your balance off and that. And the quality was very good. I don't think we got jump scared at all. Or no, one creepy little girl kept following me.
Yeah.
I didn't like her.
Yeah,
I told her that too.
On the creepy children.
They kept trying, and what was funny was that they're allowed to touch you in Eloise. So like I literally was like this because I'm ready to do I told everybody I was gonna be like Kenny from South because I'm ready for it. So like I'm like this with my hood.
It's a good strategy.
And I'm watching as we first start walking in that they're actually like the women in front of us, they're like playing with their hair, and I'm like, I'm so glad I got my hood up. It's right? They can't play with my hair, but they're like rubbing my back, and they kept messing with the back of Chris's neck, and like he was like doing like this whole like
so the haunt itself, I would say was a decent boo haunt. Again, they could touch you. I've been to contact haunts before, and I felt like they really were pretty tame with it. Like when I go to a contact haunt, I'm expecting to get thrown up against a wall, have a knife put to my neck, something like that, right? The most they did was kind of pinch my ankles and rub the back of my neck.
Well, hear me out on this, right? Because it's a haunted location. And they're making a haunted attraction. And a few things that you guys just said all remind me of actual paranormal investigations. So I don't know if that... Am I giving too much credit where credit's not due? Because we'll Brie with the hoodie. Remember when we first went to the Conjuring house?
Uh-huh.
And I went down in the basement and I said, and I did the Estes method for the first time. Wasn't a great experience. It was bad. But there was a medium there on the tour who pointed at the camera because they were watching it upstairs and said, she's going to start getting fucked with because she's got a hood on her head. But that's what I do. Like, whether if I'm feeling unsafe or scared, whether it's a paranormal location or a haunt, it's a protection thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, hoodies in the paranormal world, I don't know if you know this, they're actually ghost proof. They just can't get through them.
Yeah. They'll pull it down. I've had my hood pulled down in a location where they're just like, nope, you're facing me. Like, you're gonna deal with this.
Like the tickling of the neck, like those, all the touching of the ankles, like those are all things I think all four of us have probably can say we've experienced at a haunted location, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there definitely could be something to that. Maybe it was a tactic on Eloise's part there.
Oh, really?
That's pretty cool, all right?
I don't know who you are, but that's awesome if you were. Welcome. I'm glad you found us.
So me and Brie had a conversation about Eloise, though. And Eloise has a very dark history, right? Thousands of people have died there. There, I think it's like 1,700 unmarked graves. A lot of bad stuff has happened. There's even been rumors of cannibalism.
Oh, Gil.
That happened there.
Gil, yeah.
Now,
cannibalism?
That's pretty
now,
bad.
I don't know if it's on the record. I'm going off of what somebody told me that works there. But yeah, and this wasn't through when we were going through the haunt, right? That was when it was just somebody that works for the historic stuff. So we're going through this and we're realizing like they're replicating this asylum, how it used to be, and there is things that show like cannibalism and that in it. And at what point are we on that morally gray line that we are taunting, the residents that have been there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Brie, what's your opinion on all that?
Well, just like when I was talking to you about it, I mean, this is a huge rabbit hole that we can dive into. I personally, like, with how do I say this? With my abilities, like with what I'm able to pick up on, in my mind, my personal feelings was, okay, this is definitely kind of crossing a line. Like, it's one thing to replicate an asylum, to replicate, the process of insanity through as you go through. But when you're digging into the deep recesses of a very ugly history when it comes to things such as cannibalism, I felt like that's definitely a no-go. Like, that's something that should not be crossed. And I was like really picking up the whole fact that they felt like disrespected, that they felt that they were being mocked, and it just, to me, it was very disgusting. Like, I understand that you want to make people, like, you want to give that ick factor. I understand you want to give the jump factor. But I feel like there's also a moral obligation in when you are in a historical location that has a dark history,
Right.
Whether it be, this asylum or any other asylum or sanatorium or prison that could be having a Halloween haunt done in it. I fully approve of keeping with the history of whether it's asylum, sanatorium, prison, but when you start crossing the moral lines that were crossed at certain points in history, I mean, if you've got a haunt out of a place that used to be a poor farm and that women were sexually abused, you're not going to have that, because people know that that's a no-no. But if you're not going to have that, why are you going to involve something like cannibalism? I felt like that was really like you're really dancing on a fine line there. And that should not have been touched. Like in my personal opinion, I felt like that was in bad taste. You know.
Yeah, and I was even, you're saying that you were good with the historic and doing that, but even that to me was like, we don't know if there's a conscience to it, like, or do they think that they see this stuff and are they reliving a trauma, like going down there and seeing them going crazy and all that, and I wonder what it does to the rest of the asylum. Like, do they not go down there because they don't want to see it, so they're always up on the other floors that aren't being used? Like, Kyle, you've been around for a while and you've been to some historical places. Have you seen activity change due to attractions or events being held there?
I mean, I know a lot of the bigger locations, and like Bree said, it's kind of a fine line. Like, I can understand to a point, especially, doing these haunts. It's a big moneymaker for historical locations that struggle to bring in funds. Like, this is the time of the year to bring in funds, but like you said, it's a balancing act morally. But I think it all depends on the location. So if you have a smaller location and you're pumping, hundreds of people in a night in and out, of course, I think personally it's going to affect the activity in the location, and it all depends on the location. If you have a smaller house per se, or a residence that's a haunted house, those spirits might run and hide or just not come out for a while. It might just be too much energy. But if you have like a prison or asylum where the energy might have been different, that might ramp it up through the roof too. You don't know. So, I mean, it has an effect, but I think each location, depending on, the spirits there, it really depends.
I agree 100%. I can see like what everyone here is saying. For me personally, because I do pick up on certain feelings too. I think Kris was saying that after talking with you, we may have some similar experiences that we've had. For me personally, I think about when we are investigating at a paranormal location, we're trying to make contact, and how it's not always easy. And like the best way I can describe it is I feel like just like we're trying to like look through a veil to see them, whoever and wherever, where they come from or whatever. I feel like they are doing that with us too. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think like if there's a haunted attraction going on that it's legit just all these spirits sitting there just like fully aware or like of what's going on. You know what I mean? I think that it's probably, and again, this is my opinion, but probably closer to what Kyle was describing as like more just picking up on energy. So especially people being like jump scared or laughing and like those sort of things, kind of picking up on that energy, but not necessarily, I don't know, being like that cannibalism is disrespectful. But if you picked up on those feelings, that's different, because I know what that feels like, and that could have been a specific spirit, who is seeing this and is feeling really disrespected. There's even people like, I'll give a perfect example, the Lizzie Borden house, right? The first, and this was the first night of the first time that Kris and I ever dipped our toes into anything paranormal. And what's the first thing we did? I had Kris lay down on the couch right in the spot that Andrew Borden, and we've got this on live on this channel, right where he died. And I took one of the rubber axes that they had in the house as a prop, and I pretended I was chopping him. And
we were classy.
It was super classy. like we're that much classier now. But I'm saying there's like, and how many people have done that? There's thousands and thousands and thousands of photos of people in that exact spot posing, doing the exact thing. And it's like, it's where's that moral line, between being able to raise funds and.
But what did we learn at the boarding house? Like doing the Estes method, he did not want us there.
He didn't like it. No.
No.
Well, he didn't want anyone there. You could tell. Like he was like, "Get out my house." Yeah, but then the other spirits came through that very much felt like they loved to have. I mean, Abigail, for instance, was a spirit that we asked many times, and her answer was always, "I love when people come here," and you know what I mean.
And her room was so welcoming. Like, so
Right.
when you went into Abigail's room, it felt like home. Like you had no fears. You stepped outside that door, and it was like dread. And yeah, that was very scary. But when you were in that room, you were safe. So, Brie, you travel all around. You've been to so many different locations.
Yes.
What is your favorite location that you have been to so far?
Oh, okay. Activity wise, history wise, that's a good one. I've gotten the chance to knock so many off of my bucket list that it's insane. I would say my favorite so far, based on history and the activity that I personally experienced. I mean, it's kind of a toss up between two locations, but when I was at Old Hospital on College Hill, I got during my live, my paranormal brother Joe's up on 4th floor doing isolation with me. And at first, we're not getting much activity. And so we're debating on whether or not he should go downstairs, and finally decide that he would stay. We would just see what would happen, because he didn't like the fact, especially with all the accounts of supposed evil entities that are on the 4th floor. He didn't want to leave me alone. And
I watched this, by the way.
You watched that? Yeah.
Live as it was happening.
Yeah, that was a great live. So like I'm getting responses on the K2, and I'd already cleared the area. I knew that there was nothing there to throw the K2 off, and I'm getting intelligent responses. And I'm backing, trying to make sure it's not my phone. It's not a piece of equipment. Joe's even doing it. Joe tries talking. It's not responding to him. It's responding to me. So he steps back into the hallway, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a black figure just go darting, but it ran right past Joe, and then you hear the door slam.
Yeah.
And so like that was probably one of like the best things I've caught during a live. That was amazing. And he's like, "You must have bumped the door," but the door that I was standing in front of was stuck on the carpet. It wouldn't budge. Like he even tried moving it.
Well,
like,
you showed it multiple times.
Yeah. So like we showed it, and we found 2 doors, which it could be, and we slammed both of them. We're like, it's got to be one of these 2, but that was great. And then the whole Polaroid camera picture that he took when I was standing in the doorway of the pharmacy. If you look at it, Mecca actually asked, who's in the audience tonight, he actually asked for a clean copy of a picture of that Polaroid, and so I sent it to him, and he enhanced it 5 different ways. And you can actually see a white, and like I don't know if it's like a ghostly figure, an angelic figure, but as I'm standing in the doorway, because I'm standing there and I'm like, I'm on my live, and I'm like, they're behind me, like I can feel them, they're behind me. And so Joe's like, "Well, stop, let me take a picture." And he took a picture, and like in the top right corner, like I even showed Kris these pictures too, you can see like a white figure in the doorway. Then you can see like directly behind me, like an 8 to 10 foot shadow figure. And then there's this squid looking shadow figure like popping out of the ceiling above my head. It like literally like
which
you
has
can
been
see,
seen.
like, the elongated body. You can see the tentacles coming off of it like a squid.
Which has been seen. Kyle can attest to that, right? But real quick question, because I thought you just said pharmacy. Wasn't that? But I think from watching the live, it was the room that I know I was the most uncomfortable in on the 4th floor, that has the little cutout window in the back left corner. I thought it was that room.
Yeah, that's
that
the
you
pharmacy.
were standing in.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was the pharmacy.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the pharmacy either until like we went downstairs, and they were like, "Oh, that's the pharmacy you were in," and I was like, "Oh,
That's
I
the
hate that
bigger,
room.
the big room up there, right?
The,
Yeah.
the one where
Up a
you
little
did the
ramp.
Yeah,
girls
I
versus boys, the final challenge.
Yes.
Kyle.
yeah,
Okay.
I hate
Gotcha.
that
Yep.
room.
Don't you? Would you agree? Like for me, that was the most. Do you know what it was about that room? It wasn't a scary feeling. It was like oppressive. And I just don't like that window. I just felt like there was something being held back behind that door.
It's weird because I mean, in my experiences in the paranormal, for some reason, it's always the like the attics or the basements the farthest away
Mhm.
from is kind of
Right.
where stuff usually likes to hang out for some reason. Not all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
they're around all of the building, but for some reason you always hear it. Oh, don't go in the basement. And it's just for some reason that they tend to kind of hide out away from people, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like the first isolation experiment I did, Kyle actually put me in a hidden room in a dungeon at Old Franklin County Jail in Chambersburg.
I think I just locked you in there and left you. I think that's
You
what
put
happened.
me out. I was sitting on the floor next to like because they still had that chain the thingy on the floor. And he
Well,
put a circle of like the trip lights around me and he was like, all right, I'll come get you in a half hour. And like
I did the immersive
Way
experience.
to
Is
just
what I
throw
did.
her right in. Yeah, that's
Bree was
exactly
like-
what
it was
it was.
great. It was great. I
Harsh
actually got intelligent
investigation part
responses.
haunt.
I think we actually because it had a shackle embedded into
Yeah,
the
so I sat
concrete,
with
like
that
where
between
they
my
would have
legs.
put the chain through to keep you there. So I actually had her put the tripwire through that, and kind of it was cool. I left her there. I'm not gonna lie, she did good. I think. She
Kyle-
I didn't come out screaming. I
No.
stayed until he came to get me, and I was like, "Oh, I guess my time's up. Bye, guys."
Kyle was like, hey Bree, I want you to come into this closet here, and then he just shut the door. It's like, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll get her later. Somebody asked, are you or any of us been to the Gettysburg area?
many a time.
Yes.
Not us.
Yes.
You guys got to get there.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I've probably been there 50 times or more. Oh, many, many, many times. It's the whole place. It's one of those locations where as soon as you get close and as soon as you kind of drive into the place, the whole
You can
town,
feel
like
it.
you can, it's not an oppressive feeling. It's just you feel
Like the
you
Conjuring house.
like you step back in time. It's just a totally
Yeah.
different feeling. And believe it or not, I've never actually ghost hunted in Gettysburg. Been there 9 million times, but never actually investigated in Gettysburg. The only thing closest was Cashtown, which is it's kind of Gettysburg, but it's like 20 minutes outside. So it's technically
Yeah.
yes, but no. But yeah, it's an awesome place.
Yeah, I love Gettysburg. When we were there for Chambersburg, I highlighted different parts of Gettysburg and went and did the Triangular Field, Devil's Den, and Little Round Top, which a lot of that's under construction. They're doing stuff with it. But then I went down the lane for Pickett's Charge, and as soon as I started driving down that road, it was like it felt like it felt like hitting a wall. Like I was driving right into the line of the soldiers waiting to do their march because like the hair on my arm stood up, like the temperature dropped. It was a completely different feel on that, because Pickett, you got to understand, he lost like 3/4 of his men that day, so like you can feel it. Like you don't even have to be trying to ghost hunt. You're going to find something. It will find
Yeah.
you. If you go there and you're open to it and open to seeing anything, like it will present itself. You don't even have to try to find it. It'll find you.
Up here in New England, obviously with the Revolutionary War, so different time period, but yeah, very many battle sites that are like exactly how you describe, whether you go in day or at night, but there's a difference when you go at night when you're not technically allowed to go there, but you just walk in. You walk how many miles from your hotel? How many miles did we walk to get there? We
maybe walked a quarter of a mile.
It felt way longer
Wow.
than that.
How did you
Maybe a
guys
quarter
make
of a
it?
mile.
That is so long.
God, it was like a forced march.
But it's
I hope you brought some water and snacks for that.
No, I'd love to take you there, Brie. If we are able to meet up, 'cause
Yes!
Brie's coming for Halloween. She's going to be doing later this month a New England trip visit, and if we are able to meet up, I'd love to take you to Concord, just because I know you're such a history buff. And that's where we were. That's what I'm referring to. And the bridge is the Old North Bridge, which is very much open to the public. It's a beautiful park, but it's the exact location where the shot heard around the world happened.
It's actually not open to the public when we went, though.
Yeah, right. I'm saying
We
it's open
committed
to the public
crimes
during the day. Hey, a local kid told us it would be fine. Like a local teenager.
Local kids
was like,
know it
"Yeah, we
all.
go
They
there
know
all the
what's
time."
illegal.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
kid was like, "Yeah, I go over there and smoke pot all the time." And
Yeah.
I was like,
He's
"Hey,
like, "You'll
it's
be
3 in the morning.
fine."
Let's go out in the woods."
Yeah, he's like, just don't turn your flashlights in until you're in the middle of the park. We're like, cool.
And then we regretted it instantly.
Well, we had that was a very moving moment for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
Should we
because
go
we
recreate that, Boston?
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's do
It's
it.
so-
Let's recreate that. Let's totally
Well,
recreate that.
One of the most haunted hotel rooms in New England is in that same town at the Concord Colonial Inn. I'm sure it'll be hard to book during spooky season, but
right.
we stayed there too. But yeah, we had that same kind of moment that you described a little, where we actually could feel like a line of energy, like a line of, it felt like they were marching. You could see there was no fog, like it wasn't even a human night out. And then suddenly when we got to the bridge, it was like shaped. There was shapes in the fog. There was fog suddenly, and it was moving very purposefully towards us. It was bizarre. And again, this was day 2 of us suddenly not being complete skeptics anymore. And having some belief in the paranormal world, because I think the night before was Lizzie Borden.
No, the night before was Salem Inn.
Oh, that's right.
And that was a bust. It wasn't that great.
Well, I think in our perspective, it wasn't that great because we had just had such a phenomenal. We didn't have a normal. I mean, how many paranormal investigators, such as Kyle's, how many people did we meet when we entered the paranormal world, where we talked to them about our 5-day trip and how much we experienced in that span of 5 days, and they were like, "Damn, like you guys got so much more than some people spend weeks at a location and they get like an an EVP or like." My brain, don't look at me like that. My brain short circuited.
Yeah, I mean, we got cool stuff. I'm just like, go.
I know, but you can't make the ghost talk to you.
I try to. You know how many EM pups that I'm willing to like put around me?
Yeah, well, on this channel, everybody, because this channel is what we used before we created Haunted Road Trip for our paranormal stuff. On this channel, you will be able to see the Salem Inn overnight, and you'll be able to see Kris being super rude to a probably perfectly nice ghost lady and being like, "Just show yourself. Come on. You're not even that." I remember.
Oh, man, Kris, you were one of those investigators.
No!
I got really frustrated because nothing was happening.
So pissy. He got so pissy. And I was like, I don't think you're supposed to be mean like that, Kris. And part of it, I wasn't even in the room, and I went back and watched the footage later, and he got worse when I left the room. At that point, he's like, "What, I gotta throw something in there?" I'm like, "You're trying to assault this poor ghost?" We've learned since then, Brie. Don't worry. He's learned since then.
He's gonna be antagonizing when we go. I'm gonna be in so much trouble.
I have
he's found a good balance. Yeah, I think he.
Bring your EM pumps though. Like I want to use those because I want to do what was. I've got ideas for this.
You have pumps now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I got too impatient.
Paranormal partner now?
I got too impatient. I've got
I see what's happening here.
I got a bunch on Christmas.
I'm just kidding. I'm psyched because I'm lucky here in New England. I have all the paranormal people like so close to me, and I am so psyched that Kris has a paranormal friend right now who is so close to him, just one state away, and that you guys are going to be able to go do these investigations. So I'll just pretend to be jealous in phone mode.
I'll go live with you, Boston. You can come for the ride. We'll FaceTime.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So, all right, before we wrap up, Brie, I
Yeah.
know that you have a laundry list of socials for people to find you. Why don't you start dishing those out?
Everyone get a pen and paper in the
Let me
audience.
get a deep breath here. Hold on. All right. So, okay, you got Facebook, which is Brie Hollingshead, but you see right there on your screen is how you can find me on Facebook. That's also how you can find me on YouTube as well. You can practically type that into any social and find me. But so it's Brie Hollingshead on Facebook, YouTube. Hold on, Twitter. Oh wait, it's not Twitter
Oh.
anymore. It's
Verena found your TikTok already.
X. Yay! And TikTok is gonna be at, and it's Breeze, like BREEZE, baby Bree. And then Instagram and Threads is _ beautiful deliverance _ I
What is
really need to
Threads?
change everything to be the same thing, but I don't know how to go. I need to figure out.
Just
Kris, you're gonna have to help me.
rebrand yourself. We're great at that. We were like, should we continue doing our paranormal stuff on the horror road trip, or like, let's just make a whole new thing? And that's how Haunted Road Trip was born. It's easy. Insta is on. I just want to put them in the chat in case anyone is
Okay.
watching later. Insta is what?
It's _.
Oh, _
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, spell it out,
I
_.
was about to type out _
It's a really long Instagram name.
It's _ beautiful deliverance _
Rena, yes, we will put all of these in the description after the live. I kind of forgot to put like anything, I think, in the description.
Yeah.
I really
I don't know if I spelled
shortchanged it
deliverance
last night.
right. Yeah, we'll update the description for anyone who's watching this, our replay crew. Thank you. And everyone, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate your support. We are 100% going to be keeping up with, and I think it's probably a good idea. We'll upload, maybe we'll upload this as well to the Haunted Road Trip, as well as the follow-up after your investigation when you guys go.
Well,
Because
yeah,
I think
so
both channels.
we're going to be on Bree's channel for the investigation.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be on Facebook or are we doing the YouTube too?
Well, I might just throw it up on StreamYard because then it'll just go. It'll hit.
Oh, it just goes everywhere.
Yeah, it'll just go everywhere
Cool.
then.
And are we filming the whole investigation? Are they going to be able to see it all, or are we going to do breaks and come and go, or what do you want to do?
We can. I mean, I've got 2 phones. I've got battery packs. We can go all night because we've got the location. I can say this without giving the name away. We've got it from 5 p.m. until 4 a.m.
Nice. That's more than enough time. That's like my
And
solid done investigating time is usually like 3 or 4 a.m. I'm like, okay.
You've
Conversation.
got Chris's EM pumps. You'll be set. You juice yourselves up, juice the ghosts up, you go golden.
I'm real excited about this location because of the reports of activity, and I have a feeling that it's gonna be good. I can't say anything about it, but it's gonna be good.
We'll make sure to share her live. We're going to share everything into the Facebook group. I think most of you here watching are probably already from that, but our Facebook group is Haunted and
Horror.
Like the sign. Haunted and Horror Road Trips is our Facebook group.
And then everybody tune in tomorrow night because myself and Brandon Vance from Monster Inside, along with Miss Kuzi here, are going to do a deep dive in extreme immersive horror experiences. So we are going to talk about a wide topic, why people go through it, the stuff that they can expect to get out of it, different places that you can find this outlet. And so I know a lot of people from the McCamey Manor Exposed Facebook group. If you are not part of that, go join it. It's an awesome cause. We're trying to shut down a big bad, and
Big
we're
bad.
growing quick. We've almost had 10,000 members in 4 days added to that group.
Mhm.
Like, it's pretty damn cool.
It's
So
crazy. And I mean, and even beyond tomorrow's live with Kris and Brandon and myself, keep an eye on the channel in general. I think we hope to have some other notable people that, if you're in the McCamey Manor Exposed group, or if you know anything about the whole McCamey Manor rabbit holes, what a shit person Russ is, some lives that you'll be interested in coming in and being a part of. And what's nice is that we're going to try to do most of these as live so that you can also be part of the discussion. We're going to get, I think that guy is going to be coming up eventually too, as well as some other haunt actors.
yeah,
Because I'm really excited to hear from people that work in the haunts, Boo
Yeah.
Haunt all the way up to Extreme, to hear about the differences and why they love doing it, etc. So
pretty cool.
stay in touch.
So thank you everybody for tuning in tonight, and I'm going to leave you all with parting words from Russ.
Let me give him some peanuts. Peanuts. I hear peanuts. They like their peanuts.